Compressors can add so much to your projects, whether it's adding some color or character from a vintage style compressor, or maybe you just need to level out a vocal or tame a drum track. Having a range of compressors in your plugin library is always a good idea. So let's check out some of the best free compressor plugins available right now, starting with a digital compressor from Melda Audio. This is Mcompressor. This is a very nice modern digital compressor. You get the compression shape controls that give you some more flexibility, and you get the visuals for your compression. Mcompressor doesn't really add any color to your tracks, so you can use it pretty much anywhere without worry. It also has some decent presets in there to use as starting points, and you can get it in a bundle with 36 other excellent plugins. Mcompressor is available in VST, VST3, AU, and AAX formats on both Windows and Mac. Next up is Native Instruments Supercharger. This one has minimal controls, making it very easy to use, and you can really smash your tracks if you want to. Plus, it has a dirt control that can add some extra character to your audio. Supercharger is based on a one-of-a-kind boutique tube compressor. This comes in the Native Instruments Complete Start bundle, which includes some other very useful instruments and effects. You can get it in VST, VST3, AU, and AAX formats on Mac or Windows. Now let's look at FETish from Analog Obsession. This is a fairly aggressive FET style compressor which is inspired by the classic 1176, but it does its own thing. Use the input to control the amount of compression and the output for the makeup gain. You have more control over your ratios compared to the traditional 1176, as this uses a dial instead of the fixed buttons. You still get that all-in mode when you press the slam button, and there's also a sidechain filter section plus a mix control. This isn't a transparent compressor, it's going to add some character, which I always like, and you can get FETish in VST and AU formats on Mac or Windows. The next free compressor plugin is DC1A from Klanghelm. This is a simple two-knob compressor that can give you subtle compression with a bit of character, or a more aggressive pumping compression with a ton of color, and of course everything in between. Want that pumping sound? Enable the negative button. Want a more clean compression? Use the relax setting. If you're using this on stereo tracks, it works in stereo linked mode unless you press the dual mono button, and then it's going to compress the left and right individually. It's a very interesting compressor plugin that can find its way into your projects. DC1A is available as VST, VST3, AU, and AAX formats on Mac or Windows. Next up is DCAM FreeComp from FXPansion. This is based on a classic console bus compressor. It can provide clean compression, it doesn't really color your sound at all, but it can be great at gluing your buses together or even your entire mix. But you can also use this on individual tracks as well. DCAM FreeComp is available in VST, AU, and AAX formats on Mac or Windows. The next free compressor plugin is Density Mark III from Variety of Sound. This one is fairly easy to use once you understand the controls. It can be a very gentle, uncolored compressor that can be used on your mix bus or even in mastering situations, but you can get more aggressive with it and it will add some character to your tracks. Density Mark III can be run in stereo, mid-side, or you can use it in dual mono mode. The timing knob has some preset attack and release times built in. It does come with a manual that tells you what those settings are for each step. Density Mark III is available as VST on Mac or Windows. Here's another one from Analog Obsession. This one is LALA. This is based on an LA2A optical compressor. You can see it has those two knobs for gain and peak reduction, just like the traditional one, and it also has the compress and limit switch, but it also adds a filter sidechain section and a mix knob. If you're looking for an LA2A style compressor, this one is well worth a try. It's available in VST and AU formats on Mac or Windows. Next up is Frontier from D16 Group. This is an easy-to-use compressor plugin and it has a great-looking interface. It can give you a subtle transparent limiting effect, or it can be used more aggressively. You do have to register a user account on their website in order to activate it, but it's completely free to do that, and you can get Frontier in VST, VST3, AU, and AAX formats on Mac or Windows. The next one is TB Bus Compressor from Toneboosters. This one was designed with buses in mind, but it can also be used on individual tracks as well. It can offer subtle transparent compression, or you can use it to easily create pumping effects, and it also has an upward compression setting as well. It gives you lots of possibilities, and it comes in a bundle with 20 effects that are all top-notch. Toneboosters TB Bus Compressor is available in VST and AU formats for Mac or Windows, but it may not work with the latest Mac OS. Another free compressor plugin included in that Toneboosters bundle is TB Compressor. At first, this might look like a typical digital compressor, and it can be used like one if that's what you want. But if you dig in a little more, you can see that it has some character control with settings like Vintage Punch, Modern Punch, Smooth Rider, and Pump and Breathe. You have that great graphic in the middle that shows you what your audio is doing, and this one is available in VST and AU formats on Mac or Windows, and like the previous Toneboosters plugin, it may not work with the latest Mac OS. And here's another one from Analog Obsession. This one is Kolin. This is a Veramu style compressor. It adds control over attack and release, plus it also has sidechain capabilities. But the bulk of the work in this plugin is done with the big knobs, a simple design that can bring some life to your digital audio tracks. Kolin is available in VST and AU formats on Mac or Windows. Next up is SN01 from Senderspike. This one was inspired from two classic VCA bus compressors, a UK and a US compressor model. You have a control that will switch between the two, plus you have your typical VCA compressor controls in here. And when you're downloading this one, make sure you get the version that is SN01-G, as that one includes the graphic user interface. The SN01 is available as VST on Windows only. Up next is MJUCjr from Klanghelm. This one is based on a classic Verimute style compressor, and it's a slimmed down version of the Klanghelm MJUC plugin. It's fairly easy to use. You have two knobs and a 3-position timing switch. This switch controls the attack and release settings, plus it also controls parts that affect the harmonic saturation. It's available in VST and AU formats on Mac or Windows. The next free compressor plugin is TLS1295 from TBT Software. It's another one that's based on the classic LA2A optical compressor, but this one adds some more functionality, like drive settings, you can adjust the attack and release settings, plus a sidechain filter and more. If you want that classic optical compressor sound, but want to really take control of it, then this plugin might be for you. The TLS1295 is available as VST on Windows only. The next one is Stupid Compressor from SNFK. It's a pretty straightforward digital compressor that has a nice graphic to show you what your audio is doing and where you're going to be reducing the gain of your source material. And if you want to get even more control of your audio, you can dig into the advanced settings. Stupid Compressor is available as VST on Windows only. And here's yet another analog obsession compressor. This is DBComp. This one reminds me of the DBX160 compressor, but I'm not sure if it's modeled after that. Analog Obsession designed it with your drum bus in mind, but they also recommend using it with acoustic or electric guitars and bass guitars as well. It has a very nice user interface. DBComp is available on Windows or Mac in VST, VST3, and AU formats. The next free compressor plugin is TDR Molotok from Tokyo Don Labs. This is a very nice compressor plugin. You can use it on buses or on individual tracks and it's going to sound great. If you're after a transparent compressor, this isn't the one for you as it does add color. But if you want to add some nice harmonic character to your tracks, download TDR Molotok. It's available as VST, VST3, AU, and AAX on Windows or Mac. Up next is Rough Rider 3 from Audio Damage. This is a modern looking compressor that can deliver a vintage sound to whatever track you add it to. It has sidechain capabilities and it can do extremely high ratios, allowing you to really crush your audio if that's something you want to do. There are a couple of other versions of Rough Rider, including Rough Rider Pro, which you can also grab for free, and it's more of a multi-band compressor. You can get Rough Rider 3 on Mac and Windows in VST, AU, and AAX formats. Next up is Slax from Sonic Anomaly. This is another LA2A optical style compressor. It's fairly simple to use with its two knobs, so you can easily dial in your sound fairly quick, and Slax can add some classic character to your tracks with the hidden coloration settings. Drums, guitars, vocals, or try it wherever you want. You can get Slax as a VST on Windows only. Alright, here's another free compressor plugin from Analog Obsession. This is Buster. It's an extremely easy to use and versatile bus compressor. It's similar to a SSL bus compressor. Use it on your drum bus, mix bus, or wherever you want. Buster will give you a nice subtle compression that can glue your tracks together, or you can get creative with it and crush your tracks if you really want to. You even have sidechain options with this one. There is another version from Analog Obsession called Buster SE, and that one has a different look and some added controls. Both are great options, so check them both out if you like. Analog Obsession Buster is available in VST and AU formats on Windows and Mac. Now add some free tape saturation to your plugin library by clicking the video on the screen. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating, and we'll talk soon.